point towards it being a defensive tactic by the Ukrainian defense forces to keep those Russian forces at bay and from them moving any closer to the cities. 2 hours ago, Ukrainian Defensive Ministry says Mariupol is still fighting against Russian forces. That comes again as our live UA maps here have. As our event maps here, our force movement maps have showed clear indicators that the Ukrainian forces are still
point towards
holding the city at this time. You can see kind of a Russian tactic by the Ukrainian defense forces here, moving westbound, looking to kind of cut off the port edge of the city here, moving along the coast. You can see there's some strikes that have been reported in that area over that time. Somebody in the chat says China will support no matter what. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I don't put. I mean, of course, we see this pattern by China and by Russia time and time again, and we're going to continue to see this where they're going to say they're not going to do something. They're going to make that effort, of coming to the political negotiating table and showing the world, that they're putting in the effort, so to speak. When really they're just doing that as a tactic, to make them look better on the geopolitical stage. Okay. They're going to do what they want to do in the end, but they're going to say that they're not going to do it. They're going to try to appease everybody, and they're going to say these things, at places like the UN Security Council meetings, etc. They'll say, okay, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, but then they're going to go ahead and they're going to do them anyway. It's what makes me personally fearful about what we're seeing in Belarus, effort, so to speak. When really, it's what makes me fear, that the Chinese are actually going to go through on providing lethal aid. You see all of these countries providing aid to Ukraine, okay? And so, of course, we're going to see countries providing aid to Russia. That's a given, and a lot of it, again, is forced on the hand of the Kremlin as they look to kind of, garner support from a lot of these countries. They're doing that kind of as more of a geopolitical move, and not so much as, an actual logistical move on the ground, for the war effort. However, I think with the exception of, force movements coming in from a lot of these Muslim countries, from a lot of these places in the Middle East, I would say that's an exception. We're definitely seeing a lot of forces being moved in from a lot of other areas, and I've talked about this before. They want to keep the amount of Russian casualties to a minimum. It's imperative that they do so, especially for Putin, given that he has elections upcoming in the next year or two. So he wants as few Russian deaths. He wants as few Russian body bags in the minds and hearts of the Russian people as they look to wrap up this conflict. And the way he does that is he does that by getting other countries involved, places like Chechnya, places like Belarus, etc. 2 hours ago, 5 civilians were killed by shelling of the Russian Federation in the Izium area, says the chairman of the Kharkiv military administration, Oleg Sinijubov. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I apologize, Oleg. 2 hours ago, violent shelling targeted Kharkiv now. You can see those fires there on camera. I would not put it past it that is what those heat signatures we were seeing both on our NASA firms map and even possibly on our ski cam here were. Those were most likely those fires. You can still see kind of the remnants of some of those burning off here in the distance on this camera here. Somebody says there's only one vote in Russia's election, Putin's. Yes, and I mean, I've said this multiple times. Of course, if he wants to, he can continue to be president for as long as he can. Now, with that said, he still does have an electoral process there, somewhat, and he needs support of the people so that he can have the support of his oligarchs, okay? He needs to keep support of his hierarchy, and to do that, he needs overwhelming support from the Russian people, or at least majority support, in some cases. If not, he has to play dirty, okay? He doesn't want to play dirty, so to speak, when it comes to, operating domestically. And he wants to be able to have the people on his side. He kind of needs that. And so that's kind of what we're going to see going forward here. 2 hours ago, Privar village in Zhytomyr region was completely destroyed in an attack by Russian helicopters. You can see that listed on the map here. Again, a lot of these attacks that are being listed in the Zhytomyr region are very north of the actual city of Zhytomyr, so keep that in mind when I bring up a lot of these strikes that are happening near Zhytomyr. They're actually happening pretty far north of Zhytomyr, along this kind of westerly border here with where that Russian territory control is taking place. 2 hours ago, Kiev City Council states that in Kiev, since the start of Russian invasion, 228 people have been killed, including 4 children. 912 were wounded, including 16 children. Very unfortunate situation again unfolding there in Kiev as we see that humanitarian crisis unfold. We see more residential targets getting hit. I suspect, God forbid, hope not, but I suspect that number is probably going to increase as those Ukrainian forces really hold the ground there in Kiev. Unfortunately, I believe that Putin and those Russian commanders are going to take a sharp turn towards bombarding the city more heavily and targeting a lot of these residential targets. Church in Markarina has been damaged after a Russian attack. One dome has collapsed. Again, it's a shame to see a lot of these old monasteries and these old churches that have stood for, in some cases, hundreds of years in some of these places getting damaged. Some of these buildings have survived through through multiple world wars in some cases. Again, here's a video of that here on screen. Again, it's like I don't think any Ukrainian military are using those, for operations. So they're most of the time they're either bombing these targets for effect on morale, okay, to decrease, but a damper on Ukrainian morale, or they're accidentally hit. They're trying to target other sites, other targets, and then they're inadvertently hitting some of these monasteries. Either way, it's definitely pretty. It's pretty shitty that a lot of these monasteries are getting hit. Same with a lot of the schools and stuff. I know there has been evidence that some of the Ukrainian forces have been using schools as staging areas. Of course, there's there's not children in those schools when they're using them as staging areas. There's a lot of empty buildings that have been evacuated, like stadiums, schools, etc., that the Ukrainian defenses in some regions are using as staging areas. So I can see they would target those areas, but the monasteries are not being used for staging. Okay, so when you see these old historical targets getting hit, it's mostly to to attack Ukrainian morale. What are we seeing coming up the road here? Is this a guy on a bicycle or is this a motorbike? Looks like a motorbike of some kind. 2 hours ago, a report out of Kharkiv here says red alert, aerial threat siren sounding now. Somebody says, okay, so Brian says, with internet in Ukraine and all the cell phones over there, why haven't we seen a ton of raw cell phone footage of these events? I don't want to be that guy. I'm not seeing it. You're not looking in the right places, Brian, because we have seen millions of clips, okay? Millions, hundreds of thousands of clips we go through every day, okay? To say that there's not footage means you're not looking deep enough, okay? You're not going to the right places. Head over to our Discord if you want to see plenty of that. Head over to the Discord. We got plenty of that intel being posted all the time. If you want to see proof of what is going on in Ukraine, if you want to see the hard truth of what is really happening in this country, you need to look deeper. Of course, you're not going to see what is really going on in the country by watching things like mainstream media, by tuning in to even, I mean, my reports here, I go into depth, of course, but to really find these things, you need to look deeper. You need to go to the source. You need to go to places like, Reddit, Twitter, different internet forums, things like our Discord community where people are sharing information. That's where you find a lot of those clips that individuals upload. People that are living in Ukraine, people that are on the ground in Ukraine. That's where you see a lot of these things, uploaded. Telegram is another one, especially for pro-Russian sources. There's been a lot of, clips and stuff uploaded to, Telegram as a platform, but they're everywhere. This stuff is everywhere. It's even on YouTube. If you look deep enough, you'll find a lot of this combat footage and stuff. I see people in our live chat every day say, I don't see anything happening. What's going on? There's no war. There is definitely, we've seen stuff happen live many times here on the show. War is not a constant, it's not a constant action movie, okay? There is periods of downtime. There's resupplying that needs to happen. There's regrouping that happens with forces. If you want to look for evidence, it's there. It's all over the place, and there's almost too much of it to handle sometimes. That is for sure. Again, back to my reports here. Over the past few hours, we've seen a lot of red alert sirens. I checked my automated tracker, and it does look like they have sounded the all clear off of all those sirens that came 2 hours ago. Those were in Zaporizhia, region near Kharkiv there, Kryvyi, Dnipro. I believe Kiev also had some sirens sounding as well. Shelling, about an hour ago, shelling targeted the Remizavad district in Cherniv City. Here is a picture of that here, and also brought it up on the map there for you. Here again is some footage, some pictures again of that damage. Just absolute destruction here. These are people's lives that are being destroyed. These are people's livelihoods that are being destroyed here. You imagine some of these shops here, some of these owners of these shops probably worked their entire lives to get some of these stalls opened in some of these markets there, and it's all being destroyed in real time. By this war. An hour ago, a red alert aerial threat sirens sounding in Odessa. Again, I believe we saw the all clear siren from those just a short while ago. An hour ago, heavy shelling targeted the eastern district of Kharkiv and the KHTZ Rohan northern Saldivka districts. You can see there that fire there most likely lines up with some of the fires we probably saw on screen here on the ski cam here. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but it's very likely that those larger plumes we saw in the distance were coming from this direction. An hour ago, a more red alert aerial threat siren sounding that was in Lubny in Poltava, the region of Poltava there. An hour ago, the United Nations says most of the victims were killed by shelling, heavy artillery, missiles, and airstrikes. Of course, not all of those casualties. We have seen some casualties from the direct hand of some of the forces on the ground. Of course, there's always going to be collateral damage. There will always be civilians caught in a crossfire, as is the nature of war. It's extremely unfortunate. We have seen civilians caught in the crossfire from both sides, from the Russian side and from the Ukrainian side, across both eastern and western Ukraine. There is growing amounts of civilian casualties, wounded, and again, that humanitarian crisis. 42 minutes ago, 2 killed, including a 9-year-old child as a result of shelling at the KHTZ district in Kharkiv. That, again, goes right along with that report that we just brought to you a moment ago, and from those fires that we saw 33 minutes ago, red alert siren in Cherniv. Pretty sure we also saw the all clear on that, but I can get an update on that here shortly. Okay, so 32 minutes ago, again, this event is known propaganda that is being displayed again, being made clear for everybody's, so that everybody's aware of that. Russian Ministry of Defense accuses Ukraine in preparations of attack on Western diplomats in Lviv in planting explosives at cylinders with ammonium and chlorine in Sumy, deploying cylinders with chemicals to school in Koltorovo, village of Mykolaiv region. Again, we're going to have to wait to see what developments come of that situation. It's a very dicey situation that's ongoing with this Russian false flag narrative, this possibility of chemical attacks. I pray to God that they do not look to resort to that I really do not want to see, the events of Syria occurring here in Ukraine. I would be very unfortunate, not only for the civilians on the ground that are going to be exposed to chemical agents and will probably die from these attacks, but the international consequences of this attack will be catastrophic. Okay, absolutely catastrophic. The escalatory action that would induce across the world. I mean, from all sides of the spectrum here, it would be catastrophic, absolutely catastrophic development. And I pray that we do not see that occur. The same with any nuclear escalation as well. The chemicals would be again right there along with a nuclear attack at this point. It would be a very big development and would most likely spell consequences for all of Europe, I believe. 12 minutes ago, Russian army has shelled Novi Petrivsky with the MLRS Grad systems earlier today. A petrol station was damaged, but luckily no casualties were reported in that attack. Okay, so with that, that concludes just kind of my round of reports. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here. I'm going to be continuing to bring you guys updates. I'm not going anywhere right at this very moment. But as for my recording that I'm going to be uploading to YouTube for today's morning afternoon report, that concludes that. Again, I will be continuing to bring you some more reports here after I conclude my little talking point here. I just want to make sure that we got all these. So 11 minutes ago, actually, there was another report that just came in here. 6,623 people were evacuated today from Mariupol, settlements of Kyiv and Luhansk regions. So again, there's ongoing evacuations there as they look to get more people out of those areas. Again, thank you to everybody that is currently tuning in. I'm going to be bringing you guys updates all afternoon. Right after this report is done here, I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube, and I will be bringing you, continued reports. We'll be going in after I'm done with this here. We'll be going into like the flight radar and all that stuff. I'll be talking to you guys in the live chat. We'll be kind of doing some of that stuff. We'll be looking into some of these Russian force movements as well and getting some of the details on what's going on there. There's a few things that even I need to get updated on it myself, so we're going to kind of go through together and kind of get a look at everything that's going on here. Again, thanks to everybody that's tuning in today. If any of you are interested in any of the links or looking at any of the sources that I'm sharing with you, you can find links in the description below the YouTube video and below the YouTube live stream. If you would like to find anything further from there, you can probably find it on our Discord server. The link to that is discord.gg/Nemiko. An alternative link to that is discord.com/invite/Nemiko. You can find that link in the description below. Everybody is welcome to join over there on the Discord server. So he says, can you put the live map in the big square? Yeah, I can do that when I go to, well, in a few minutes when I go to, we'll start kind of going through the force movements. I'll move cam 1 up to that top corner, and we'll put the live game maps and everything down on that bottom cam. Yeah, again, if you're looking for any of those links, you can find them down in the description below. Again, if there's anything else that's not there, you can find that on our Discord server. Everybody is welcome to join over there. Make sure you read the rules when you join the server over there. We'd love to have you guys. We have an amazing community we've been building over there, almost 17,000 members now. We have people doing radio communications analysis, translations, tracking flight radars, tracking things like naval, maritime movements, looking at things like reports from like the Kremlin, tracking what the Russian narrative is saying. We have people over there doing everything. Tracking cameras. We have a whole team of people that is vetting live cameras. I believe we are still the only channel on all of YouTube and the internet that I know of that has such a large force behind it. As for vetting the cameras, making sure that all the cameras we have on screen for you are live, are current, and are real. Okay, there is a large amount of fake cameras that have been going around. There's a large amount of false news, propaganda, and fake information that is being spread here. It is an information war that we are in, not just on the ground in Ukraine, but on the internet right here before us. And so, again, I think everybody that has been putting in the hours, we have people, putting in double shifts to make sure that we have access to all of these cameras, to make sure that they are all vetted, are all verified, and that goes right down to our writing team, making sure that all the content we're bringing to you guys is vetted. To make sure that we're keeping everything unbiased, apolitical. We're not bringing any agenda into this whatsoever. We're bringing you guys raw facts and information. Every time we're wrong on something, every time we get information that says, that something has been confirmed, that maybe wasn't before, we make sure to go back and correct on things. Again, this is kind of the fog of war we're experiencing here in real time. This is, again, as I said, it's an information war. And so cutting through all the chaff, cutting through all the bullshit, and getting to the center and finding the truth in it is quite an operation, to say the least. The way I've put it over the past few weeks is, every member, every operator over on in our community is kind of like a computational node. All right, it's a computer on a network. In the same way that you could have a computer program or an AI, like a neural network, verifying data or analyzing data. We're doing the same thing, but with human brains over here in our community. So it's amazing what we've been able to accomplish. It's an amazing feat of human manpower and resources which we've been able to muster up over there, and we'd love for everybody else to join us. Again, if you're following along on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button. If you're watching the stream right now, make sure to hit the like button. It's the best way to get the algorithm's attention. If you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do that is to hit that subscribe button. I'll be uploading these reports and our open panel discussions every time we make them. We have some other really awesome content in the works, in the pipeline for you guys that we'll be bringing to you guys shortly. With that, I conclude this morning afternoon update for March 19th. Also a little bit of the 18th in there for you guys out of Ukraine. And with that, I'll be bringing you some more updates shortly. All right, so with that, guys, I concluded that recording. That I'll get that uploaded to YouTube for anybody that missed it. I'll get that uploaded to YouTube here shortly so that we can all take a look at that. Again, thank you to everybody that's tuning in right now. Glad to have all of you guys on board here today. Again, we'll start kind of going through some of the more recent updates here. In fact, I'll go through my situation room shortly here, and we'll kind of take a look at what all of our Discord members have been posting, some of the reports that people have been bringing in. I'm just kind of going through some of the messages that everybody sent over. Epi, our Scotsman over on the Discord, said, thanks for the update. I've been out most of the day. Well, thank you, Epi. We actually had the stream down for a short while last night. I wanted to give my equipment a rest, give myself a rest there for a little while, and we're back up operational today. Glad you're tuning in again, Epi. Glad to see everybody that's tuning in today. Somebody says, what is the lighting in Odessa Cam? It's most likely... Oh, so the lighting you see down there, I believe, is streetlights along the coastline there. There is, again, that, the plastic tarp flapping in the wind there that likes to get in the way. Don't get confused with that. Again, guys, I'm going through everybody's PMs that you guys sent me. Again, thank you to everybody that sends me stuff over. I try to read everybody's messages. I don't get to reply to everybody because there is a lot of people sending stuff in. So somebody sent me a live Kiev Sophia camera square cam, and I am about 110% that that is fake because we haven't had a Sophia square cam since like day one. They took that down. Yeah, that was the one with the KGB pigeon. Yeah, I don't think this is I don't think this is real. It is a webcam.guru.ukraine stream, but I don't think this is real. Yeah, this is the one we had up like day one. You guys see this one here? If some people would like to get some concrete proof on this one for me, again, we used this cam day one. Day one, we had this cam up for a few weeks. We actually had this cam up here. Again, this is Sophia Square. I'm pretty sure this original feed is down. If I want to, if some of you people want to get some confirmation work going on that, that would be appreciated. We can get some. We already have it geolocated. We know where it is. We just want to get some concrete proof. Current feed source on that is again webcam.guru.ukraine. .ua. I mean, the feed. The feed the person on Discord sent over was from a YouTube channel called Skylar. About 2 people watching now. I'm very skeptical on that camera. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that that is a legit cam. Epi said bloody slow mode. Sorry. Yeah, again, we have 60-minute slow mode set up on the chat right now. If I feel like things are calming down a little bit later, we might lower that a little bit. If you guys think you can handle it. Yeah, I'm going to get some people. In fact, NMK, I don't know if you're watching still, but if you want to post that, you know, I'll post it. We're going to post that in Ukraine cams. And if I can get some people looking to debunk that cam, that would be useful. Yeah, I tossed it in Ukraine cams. If you guys want to go ahead and try to take a crack at debunking that, that would be appreciated. Somebody says, man, sometimes the snowflakes look like a lot of explosions. Yeah, I know. People seem to get tripped up on some of those artifacts sometimes. Sometimes the snowflakes can look like flashes if you're not paying attention to some of the cameras. So here's an interesting tweet from Nexta earlier. Nexta has had some interesting reports recently. This one says Russians support potential Russian military aggression against another country and believe that it should be Poland. Polish media writes about this, referring to the results of a survey conducted by the Ukrainian research company Active Group. 86.6% of the respondents expressed support for the idea of a Russian attack on the territory of the EU, which is definitely a pretty concerning number. Again, I would expect that the majority of that is probably propaganda, but it's still concerning to see any report in that capacity. Yeah, actually, I saw some people said a red moon over Europe. I actually saw some photos of that earlier. Some people also showed interesting, um, some interesting footage of what looked to be like a red sunrise earlier. Actually, a red or not sunrise, but like a sunset earlier over Ukraine. That was pretty crazy looking. Somebody said they had a cam for me. Cam 6. Yeah, send it over. I believe Mona W's said they had a cam link. Send it over. I'll take a look at it, and we'll see if we can get up on stream. Keep in mind, there are a ton of fake cameras going around. And so, yeah, every one that you guys send over, if I don't put it up on screen, it's because we need to debunk them first. Yeah, very important that we debunk that stuff. All right. So yeah, at some point here today, pretty soon here, we're looking to have Mehmet on the show for a short interview. Um, we'll also look at getting. There's another fellow which did a charity drive earlier this week into Ukraine, into Poland, with a van. It was him and a buddy from the UK. Drove all the way from the UK to Poland to deliver a van filled with supplies and humanitarian aid. I believe his name is Tom, if I'm not mistaken. He goes by I'm Heisp on the Discord over there. We're gonna hopefully have him on the show here in a little while. I think it'd be interesting to ask him about his trip and how that went. Mona said she put it in Discord under the Ukrainian cams. Yeah, no, we need the individual cam. We need the individual cam, not the multi-stream. We're trying to keep multi-streams out of that channel. We're looking for individual cams, and we need to debunk them. So we can't debunk it if it's a full feed like that. We need to get the individual feed. So if you can find us an individual stream link, then we can debunk that. Get that refreshed there. So some people identified the jacket he was wearing in that speech yesterday as a $10,000 Loro Piana jacket, which is worth 25 times the average monthly Russian's salary. That you're telling me that jacket is worth 10 grand? What is it stuffed with? Gold foil? You could buy something like that at your local Kmart. Absolutely makes zero sense why anybody would want to wear a jacket that worth that money. Like, I mean, especially one that looks like this. Looks like you're just your typical cheap down jacket. Disgusting. So here, continuing with that, those reports about Russian aggression against Poland, the Euromaidan Press reported earlier today. Yesterday, Russian state media claimed Poland must be denazified. It's time for Europeans to take heads out of the sand. We were always involved. This war is an attack on Europe, my country. Europe, media listed events of Russia's attack on the West. Very interesting developments there. Somebody said the designer will appreciate your comments, Nemiko. Yeah, honestly, I don't understand how anybody could charge $10,000 for that jacket. It looks like some cheap plastic thing you'd get, from your local Walmart or something. Ridiculous. Must be bulletproof? Yeah, I mean, if it's bulletproof, that's totally different. If those are individual ceramic plates, like some kind of ceramic, dragon skin freaking bulletproof jacket, then yeah, for sure. So again, this was that video we saw earlier, confirmed on live UAMAP of those large convoy Belarusian military vehicles heading for Brest near the Polish border. Warning signs from Belarus in the past 24 hours, indeed. We've seen some signs, some significant signs that there could be some mobilization there on behalf of the Belarusian forces. They could be moving into Ukraine. That's possible. Astrid says, is that confirmed? Are you speaking of the jacket? I don't know if the jacket is confirmed or not, but that's from some people that have looked into his wardrobe he was wearing that day. They've identified the jacket, apparently. Supposedly. Allegedly identified the jacket as a $10,000 jacket. Again, ridiculous. I'm actually currently talking to Minute, guys, and looking to maybe get him on the show here for an interview in a few minutes. So he says, can you check the airways map and show us what's in the air around Poland? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I was going to. I got distracted there. We'll go to Flight Radar 24. Take a look at what's going on in the airspace this evening. Looks like we got a tanker up. Yeah, looks like our usual tanker is above Poland right now. LAGR 168. Currently number one tracked worldwide. We have an identified flight here heading from Lebanon up now over Poland. That's currently number 2 tracked. It says it's a Boeing C-17. C-17A Globemaster 3. Country of Lebanon. I'm not exactly sure what that's about. We will have to keep an eye on that. Another tanker is currently up in the air, also above Poland. We currently have 2 above Poland at this time. Have 2 commercial flights here, Moscow to Belgrade, number 4 worldwide there. And another commercial flight London to IEC. There. I think we'll keep an eye on this interesting flight here coming out of Lebanon. Call sign BRK-K19. There's also some other activity happening over here over Poland, but I don't see our CL-60 in the air today, and I don't see Forte in the air today, at least on the top track. It might be in the air. I'll get that on screen here shortly for you guys. There's a new one, Kayak 31, Royal Air Force in Romania at the bottom. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, definitely some elevated activity here in the airspace today. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get Mehmet on a call here with Knight, our Turkish translator, and we're going to talk to him about his trip leaving Ukraine and talk about what he's been doing in Poland and what his plans are. Okay. I think we're going to do that now. I think we're going to hop into a call with Mehmet and Knight. All right, so yeah, just to reiterate there, I think we're going to hop into a call with Mehmet and Knight, our Turkish translator. We're going to be speaking to him about his trip out of Poland and what his current plans are now moving forward.
Söyleyeyim ya sanki. Space söyleyeyim özelden. Dur sadece space söyleyeyim.
Okay, guys. All right. Can you hear me? Are you guys there?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
yes.
hear you.
Okay. All right. We're on the air. Hello to Mehmet. Hello to Knight. Thank you guys so much for joining, for tuning in today and for coming on the air. How are you guys doing?
İyiyiz. Sen nasılsın?
Oh, he says he is fine. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Knight? Are you doing good?
Yeah, I am doing pretty well. It's good here.
Good. Are you actually in Turkey?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Turkey.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm adjusting your volume just to make sure that everybody can hear you guys just fine. First of all, we kind of want to ask Mehmet how his trip out of Poland was, and like what did it look like leaving Poland? Or sorry, what did it look like leaving Ukraine? And how was his trip escaping Ukraine and getting to Poland? If you could give us some insight there.
Can you please repeat again, because I have missed what you said there.
Yeah. So our first question just kind of is we kind of want to ask Mehmet Yoru how his trip was escaping Ukraine. And what it looked like on the Ukrainian-Polish border. What happened? What was the the events that took place when he was escaping Ukraine?
Ukrayna'dan kaçıp Polonya'ya geçerken durumlar nasıldı? Polonya-Ukrayna sınırında neler yaşandı? Nasıl bir izlenim bıraktı sende orada gördüklerin?
Biraz sıkıntılı geçtim. Aslında Kiev'den Lviv'e gitmede hiçbir problem yoktu. Trene bindim ve sabaha karşı Lviv'e ulaştım. Ancak Lviv'den Varşova'ya geçerken bayağı zor bir yoldan geçtim. Çünkü sürekli kontrollerden geçtik. Sınır hattında bayağı bir bekledik. Yaklaşık 5-6 saat kadar bekledik. Biraz yorucuydu. Hem de seyahat etmeden 2 gün önce hasta olmuştum. Yani hasta bir şekilde Polonya'ya geçtim.
Okay, so before he is getting to Poland, he went to Lviv first. From Lviv, he was going to Warsaw, but it was pretty hard to get there because there were two main checkpoints and border lines there. Also, he got sick on the way. That was a little bit hard for him, but eventually he managed to get there.
Was it busy on the Polish border? So when he crossed, was it pretty chaotic, or was it? So was it chaotic when he went to go?
Kanka da onda bir sıkıntı var herhalde.
Go ahead. Somebody said the translator is low. Hold on, I'm going to turn up your volume a little bit, Knight, just to make sure that we can hear you. I'm gonna turn up the volume real quick, Knight, just to make sure that we can hear you. Some people said that your volume was a little low. I got you boosted up now. I think we should be able to hear you just fine. My next question is, was it chaotic on the border with Poland there? Was it busy on the border when he crossed into Poland from Ukraine? Was it hard to get across the border? Was it easy? And what was the situation like on the ground at the border there?
Polonya sınırına gittiğinde ortam hani kaotik bir ortam var mıydı orada? Aynı zamanda sınırda ne kadar bir insan kalabalığı vardı? Çok kalabalık mıydı? Sınırdan geçiş ne kadar zor oldu senin için? Yani biz zorlanma yaşadın mı? Kolay bir şekilde geçebildin mi?
Aslında sınırdan hiç de zor geçmedim. Sadece otobüste 3 tane yabancı vardı, ben dahil. Üçümüzden parmak izi aldılar. Yani Ukrayna vatandaşı olmayan kişi vardı. Bizden parmak izi aldılar. Polonya sınırında sınıra geldiğimizde yaklaşık 1 saat kadar bekledik. 1 saat yarım saat gümrükten önce bekledik. Yarım saatte gümrük esnasında pasaport kontrolde bekledik. Onun dışında Ukrayna'dan çıkmadan önce yaklaşık bir 3-4 saat Ukrayna sınırında bekledik. Sebebini bilmiyorum. Sorduğumda kimse bilmiyordu. Sadece otobüsün içinde bekledik.
Okay, so he says it wasn't that hard to cross the border, but he had to wait for such a long time. While he was going there, there were three foreign people on the bus, including Mehmet. So the Polish people has asked them for fingerprints because they are not Ukrainian citizens. He says they have waited there almost 1 hour on the border, half an hour before the before getting the border, and half an hour during the checkpoint. But he says there was a problem with waiting also, like 3 or 4 hours. They were waiting before getting out of the Ukraine. He tried to ask the people there about why that happened, but no one had any answer there. So they just waited inside the bus for almost 3 or 4 hours.
Jeez. Was there like access to food? Did he have food when he was escaping? Like when he crossed into Poland? Was there food along the way? Was he fed? And I know he mentioned he got sick. Is he now feeling better? Is he over that sickness? And how was dealing with that? Like when did he get sick? When he was traveling, and how was he able to deal with that along the way?
Ee, Ukrayna'dan çıktığın sırada yemek durumun nasıldı? Sınırda yemek verildi mi? Yemek konusu bir sıkıntı yaşadın mı? Aynı zamanda az önce hastalandığından bahsetmiştin. Ne zaman hastalandın ve hasta olduğun durumu nasıl aştın? Nasıl kontrol altına aldın?
Şöyle, öncelikle Lviv'den çıkarken ve çıktıktan sonra Polonya sınırına devam ettikçe her yerde bütün kontrol noktalarında yemek içmek için standlar mevcuttu. Yani herkes oradan gidip ücretsiz bir şekilde ihtiyacını giderebiliyordu. Onun dışında yolculuk etmeden 2 gün önce hastalandım. Varşova'ya vardığımda ertesi gün, çünkü akşam vardım. Ertesi gün gittim. İlaç aldım. 2-3 gün içerisinde iyileştim.
So he says while leaving Lviv to get Poland border, there were checkpoints all over the road, and you could have free food from the checkpoints. He also says he got sick 2 days before the trip, and when he got to Warsaw, he took some drugs there to get better.
Awesome. So now that he's in Poland, first of all, if he just wants to talk a little bit about where he's staying, and how it's been there in Poland, what he's been doing to pass the time, and just how things are going now where he's at.
Şu anda Polonya'da olduğunda bahsetmiştin. Polonya'da nerede kalıyorsun, neler yapıyorsun şu anda? Kaldığın yerde durumun nasıl?
Şu an Polonya'nın Zielone Góra şehrindeyim. Yaklaşık Varşova'ya 350-400 kilometre uzaklıkta. Daha çok Almanya sınırına yakın küçük bir şehir. Yine Nemiko sayesinde tanıştığım insanlardan birisi olan Amy'nin arkadaşında kalıyorum. Çok tatlı, yaşlı bir çift. Daşa'yı da çok sevdiler. Şu an için onlarda kalıyorum. Yasal olarak Türk vatandaşı olduğum için 15 gün kalabileceğimi öğrendim. 15 gün içerisinde mülteci başvurusu yapmazsam çıkmam gerekecek. Veya kaçak bir şekilde kalabilirim.
Okay, so he says he's staying inside a small city called Zielonogora in Poland, which is almost 400 kilometers away from the Warsaw. It's close to Germany border. He says he found the place he's staying at. Thanks to you. From your chat, there is someone called Elmi. I don't know.
Amy.
Uh,
Amy.
Right,
Amy.
right, yep.
Yeah, Amy. And Amy's friends had their place to keep Mehmet there. So he got 15 days to stay in Poland. After that, he has to leave. Otherwise,
Ne oldu kanka? Ne?
after this, he will be counted as fugitive there. It will be illegal for him to stay there after 15 days.
Right. So how is the situation on the ground where he's at? Are people, are people concerned with what's happening, just a short ways away across the border in Ukraine? Are people, how is morale there on the ground where he's at now? Are people concerned that this could, potentially, grow into a bigger conflict and escalate? Are people calm where he's at, where he's staying now? What's the situation on the ground where he's at now?
Şu anda sahada durum nasıl? Senin bulunduğun bölgedeki insanların morali nasıl? Endişeleniyorlar mı? Aynı zamanda sınırdan geçerken insanlar endişeli gözüküyorlar mıydı? Şu an senin bulunduğun noktadaki insanlar bu yaşanan olayların daha da büyüyebileceğinden endişeliler mi? Daha büyük bir çatışmaya yol açabileceğini düşünüyorlar mı? Şu an hani sakinler mi? Ne durumdalar?
Polonya'dakilerden mi bahsediyorlar yoksa Ukrayna mı?
Ukrayna'da sınırda hani daha çok endişeliler mi? Aynı zamanda şu an senin Polonya'da kaldığın noktada insanlar hani daha büyük sorunlar olabileceğini, bu savaşın o taraflarda sıçrayabileceğini düşünüyor mu?
Öncelikle Ukrayna sınırındaki insanlar bayağı üzgün ve endişeliydi. Yani genel olarak zaten erkeklerin çıkış yasak olduğu için kadınlar ve 18 yaşından küçük çocuklar çıkabiliyor. Hepsi tabii babasından, kardeşinden ayrılmış bir şekilde çıkıyorlar. Bayağı üzgünler ve onlar için endişeleniyorlar. Buradaki insanlar da daha çok savaştan bir tık uzak ama olayları takip ediyorlar. Yani onlar da Ukrayna için endişeleniyorlar. Tabii Varşova'daki insanlar çok daha fazla endişeleniyor ve Ukrayna halkına yardım etmeye çalışıyorlar.
Okay, so on the ground near the Poland border, the Ukrainian people are pretty upset and worried because the men are not allowed to leave the country. Only women and children below 18 years old can get out of the country. So most people leaving the country are worried about their husbands staying behind. And people in Warsaw and where he's staying at the moment, Mehmet, at the moment, are also worried about Ukraine. But he didn't mention about that. They are thinking it could get bigger.
Okay. So some people were asking here in the live chat, when he was escaping Ukraine, was he scared at any time? Were there any close calls when he was, kind of making that initial evacuation out of Kyiv? Were there any, points where, there were any close calls that occurred, or maybe anything, that is worth mentioning? Like, did he see any of the Russian forces? Is there anything that might have happened when he was leaving Kyiv that's worth mentioning?
Kiev'den çıktığın süreç boyunca hani korktun mu? korku dolu anlar yaşadın mı? Herhangi bir sıcak çatışma anına denk geldin mi? Rus askerleriyle karşılaştın mı? Ve sen Ukrayna'dan çıkarken, Kiev'den çıkarken senin tanık olduğun bir olay yaşandı mı?
Hiçbiri olmadı aslında. Ne sıcak çatışma yaşadım, ne tehlikeli an yaşadım, ne korku yaşadım. Ben soft bir şekilde Kiev'den ayrıldım. Direkt yani. Tren istasyonuna gittim. 1,5 saat sonra tren kalktı ve Lviv'e gittim. Şu an için Lviv-Kiev hattı aslında bir tık temiz. Yani herhangi bir problem gözükmedi o hatta. Çünkü İrpin bölgesinden değil de diğer bölgeden, temiz olan bölgeden geçtiği için tren hattı, o hatta şu an için bir problem yok.
Okay, so he says none of you mentioned happened. None of it happened while he was living. He didn't get scared. Also, he didn't see any close contact or close moments there. Uh, from Kiev to Lviv, it was clean. He says, not the Irpin area, of course. To leave Kiev, he says he went to train station, and after 1.5 hours, he took the train to Lviv, and it was pretty soft to get there. It wasn't dangerous at all.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, from the sounds of it, it sounds like he had a pretty safe trip out of the country. So with that, I know I've been talking to Mehmet the past couple days about what his plans are going to be going forward over the next few days and weeks here. I know he's been, there's been a lot of decision making that on his behalf there. Maybe if you could ask him, what are his plans over the coming days? What is his, what is his game plan here for his next moves?
İleriki günlerde planladığın şeyler ne? Şu an kafanda ne var? İlerleyen günlerde ne yapmayı düşünüyorsun?
Ama bu soruyu soracağını biliyordum, yemin ediyorum. Belki birçok insan buna kızacak ama sonuçta bir yönde bu benim hayatım. Şu an için planım yaklaşık 2-3 gün sonra tekrar yola çıkıp Kiev'e geri döneceğim ve yayıncılığa ve haber sunmaya devam edeceğim. Direkt olayların yaşandığı yakın bölgelere gideceğim. Belki CNN'le de işbirliği yapabilirim veya Türk kanallarıyla işbirliği yapabilirim. Pazartesi ya da Salı günü yola çıkıp Varşova'ya ulaştığımda yayın için ekipman alıp tekrar Kiev'e yola koyulacağım. Bu süreçte Dasha benimle beraber olmayacak. Dasha'yı buradaki aileye evlat edindirdim. Tek gideceğim. Dasha burada kalacak.
Okay, so before translating what he's saying, he wants to apologize from you all. He wants you to not get mad. He's thinking about going back to Kiev in 1 or 2 days. On Monday or Tuesday, he will get to Warsaw to get some broadcast equipment. He wants to get back to Kiev and keep people informed about what's going on in the Kiev, and he's thinking about he might collaborate with CNN Turk or some other Turkish TV channels. He also mentioned that he won't be taking Dasha with him. He will leave Dasha with the family he's staying at the moment.
Right. So yeah, I had spoken to him in the past couple of days as he was looking to make this decision here. I know. So I know he had mentioned he'll be looking at taking the same train back in to Kyiv, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? And also, I know he had mentioned to me as well about possibly some possible collaboration with the CNN Turk team. Would they be able to get him press credentials, perhaps? for when he heads back into the country. Yeah, if you could ask him those two things.
Seninle zaten sanırım bu konuyu birazcık konuştuğundan
Aynen.
bahsetti. Ülkeye, Kiev'e, Polonya'ya gelirken kullandığın aynı trenle mi döneceksin ve
Hı hı.
Kiev'e döndüğün zaman orada CNN Türk veya başka haber kanallarıyla görüştüğünde sana basın kartı veya da çelik yelek tarzı şeyler sağlayabilecekler mi?
Hı hı. Şu an için basın kartı Türkiye'de çıkarmak bir tık zor çünkü Cumhurbaşkanlığından çıkan bir şey bu. Yani Cumhurbaşkanlığı ofisinin onaylaması gerekiyor bunun çıkması için. Ben biraz özgür basın olarak yer alacağım. Onun dışında tabii ki de kask veya yelek gibi şeyler sağlanmayacak. Çünkü tamamen ben bireysel orada yer alacağım. Eğer bununla ilgili pazartesi günü yardım yapmak isteyen varsa Polonya'da, Varşova'da bulunacağım. Muhtemelen aynı günün akşamı veya ertesi gün Lviv'e doğru otobüsle yol alacağım. Ondan sonra Lviv'den de trenle tekrar Kiev'e döneceğim.
Okay, so first about getting back to Kiev, he will get from Warsaw to Lviv bus on Monday, he says, and after that he will take the same train to Kiev. When he gets to Kiev, there will be no press credentials because to get that, it must be approved by the Turkish president office, which means he will put there as independent press. He says he won't have any helmet or Kevlar to protect him, and he's asking if there is anyone that wants to help him. He will be in Warsaw on Monday before leaving to go Kiev.
Right. Yeah, I was speaking to him about that earlier. Yeah, again, just to reiterate that. So he will be making a stop in Warsaw there, and we will be looking to possibly get some Mehmet some gear and some assistance if you guys know anybody that is in Warsaw or in the that area around Warsaw in Poland there. We will be looking to get Mehmet some further gear and equipment before he makes the trip back into Kyiv. Really quickly, I know he mentioned he will not be taking Dasha with. Some people are concerned about that. I know he had mentioned to me he was looking at maybe getting a friend to take Dasha in while he goes to Kyiv. Has he decided if he's going to like where Dasha is going to stay yet?
He says Dasha will stay with the family he's staying at the moment.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that real quick. Another question then. So, with him heading back into Kyiv, will he be returning to his house where he was before? Will he be heading back to his house? I know he had all of his possessions there, and I mean. Basically, his whole life was in that apartment. Will he be staying in that home where he was before?
Kiev'e döndüğün zaman yani önceden oturduğun kendi evine mi gideceksin? Her şeyin orada olduğunu söylemiştin. Oraya mı gideceksin?
Evet, oraya gideceğim. Şu an için orada bir problem yok yani. Evi kontrol ettirdim. Ev sağlam.
Okay, when he gets back to Kiev, he will go back to his home. He has already had someone to check his house, and there is no problem with his house at the moment.
That's good. That's good. Is he going to? So I know food and water continues to be an issue there on the ground in Kyiv. Is he planning to bring some food and water and supplies with him? If so, how much? Will he be able to take with him? Yeah, again, just is he looking to take supplies and food and stuff with him to sustain himself while he's there in Kyiv?
Şu anda Kiev'de sağda yemek ve su sıkıntısı var. Sen buradan giderken yanına ne kadarlık bir erzak alacaksın? Erzak almayı düşünüyor musun? Hani alabilirsen taşıyabileceğin ne
Evet.
kadar bir erzak olabilir?
Şu an için Daşa yanımda olmayacağı için sırt çantam tamamen boş. Sırt çantamın alabileceği kadar bir yanıma kuru gıda almayı planlıyorum. Kuru gıdanın yanında da bir miktar su alabilirim. 5-10 litre kadar. Ama önceliğim kuru gıdada. Ee, Yani çantamın alabildiği kadar, yaklaşık 30 kiloya kadar sırtımda taşıyabilirim. Buna göre Varşova'ya vardığımda market alışverişimi yapacağım. Belki gerekirse e, 60 litrelik çanta alıp çantayı büyütüp sırt çantasını daha fazla malzeme almaya çalışabilirim. Oradaki Varşova'daki duruma bağlı biraz.
Okay, so first of all, because of Dasha won't be coming with him, there will be some extra space for him to get dry food. He says his bag is almost um, can carry 30 kilograms, and his priority is having dry food and thinking about getting 5 or 10 liters of water. But when he gets to Warsaw, he will get the stores there to find bigger bags there. Maybe if he could find 60 liters bag there, he might take more supplies with him.
He also could maybe look at getting like a cart. Actually, I just thought of this. Maybe like a cart or something that he could pull stuff on. I guess there might be limited room on the train itself, though. But some other people are asking here: will he have internet when he gets back there? Does he have a backup plan for his internet connection if that goes out?
Kiev'e geri döndüğünde evde internet bağlantılı olacak mı? Bunun hakkında bir bilgin var mı? Ve eğer internetin yoksa yedek bir planın var mı?
Evdeki interneti telefondan var olup olmadığını kontrol ediyorum. Çünkü evden çıkmadan önce portları açık bırakıp öyle çıktım evden. Şu an evdeki internetin olup olmadığını kontrol edebiliyorum. Şu an internetim var. Şu an zaten Kiev genelinde aslında herhangi bir şekilde internet bağlantısı problemi yaşanmıyor. Sadece bombalanan bölgelerde problem yaşanıyor. Onun dışında herhangi bir yerde yerel internet ağı olsun, mobil ağlar olsun herhangi bir problem yaşanmıyor.
Okay, so before leaving Kiev, before leaving his house, he says he left his ports online to check if he has internet on home. So he can check from his mobile phone, and he says that there's internet connection still working in his house. And at the moment around to Kiev, there is no problem with the internet connection. Only the problem happens at the bombed areas of Kiev, like Irpin or somewhere else.
Okay, so it looks like he will have internet connection there. Does he have? Is he going to be taking with like another phone? Some people recommended, in the live chat, that maybe he gets another phone plan so that he has like a backup data connection, a backup cellular communication connection, and maybe also that he looks into getting some backup battery packs to have for power there. Is this something that he's looking into?
Gitmeden önce yanına ekstradan bir telefon almayı düşünüyor musun? Yani yedek bir plan olarak hani mobil veriden kullanabileceği bir internetin olması açısından ve giderken yanına ekstradan batarya yani powerbank tarzı bir şeyler alacak mısın?
2 tane powerbank almayı düşünüyorum. En yüksek artık 20.000 mAh'lık mı olur bilmiyorum. 2 tane powerbank almayı planlıyorum. Onun dışında yayın için aslında ben ekstradan kamera alacağım. Yayınları kamera üstünden yapacağım. Zaten bende şu an için 2 tane telefon var. Birisi iPhone, diğeri Android. 2 telefonum var. Yayını da kameradan yapacağım için mobil interneti rahat bir şekilde kullanabilirim.
Okay, so before going to Kiev, he's thinking about getting 2 power banks, thinking about maybe 20,000 milliamperes. And he says he will also get a camera from Warsaw, he's thinking, and he will be broadcasting from camera instead of his phones. He got 2 mobile phones at the moment, and he's thinking about using them for the mobile data in case.
Okay. So With this in mind, does he have any plans? Does he have a backup plan? Okay, if says like he gets to the Ukrainian border and they won't let him in, or if he gets into Kiev and he can't get into the city, does he have a backup plan? Does he have an escape plan in mind at this time?
Kiev'e geri döndüğünde seni şehre almazlarsa ne yapma planlıyorsun? Yedek bir planın var mı?
Kiev'e döndüğümde beni almama gibi olasılıkları çok düşük bir olasılık. Ki almama gibi bir durumları olduğunda da gerekli yerlerle irtibata geçip her türlü ben kendimi içeriye aldırırım. Öyle bir durum yok.
Okay, so he says it's really small possibility to not get inside the Kiev when he gets there, and but he also say if it happens, if he can't get inside the Kiev, he says he might talk to some people to get himself inside the Kiev.
Right. So basically, if he can't get in through the official checkpoints, he's looking to get in under his own means. Is that what you're saying?
Not really. He's thinking about if they don't take him inside. He's thinking about talking with the officials to take him inside.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. Okay, that makes sense. So does he have? I mean, I know that like he's talked to me. He's stated before that he's not really comfortable, not being home, and most of the reason he's going back is because he wants to be in his house. I mean, I know I would be. Just being away from my own bed for more than a few nights is a nightmare sometimes. And so, I mean, is that a large thing on his mind right now? Is he looking forward to being home? I know he mentioned to me that he had left his gaming computer behind. Is he missing, his computer? Is he really wanting to be back home again? Is that on his mind? Is that what he's looking forward to the most for being back in Kyiv? And also, does he have any plans? To maybe keep himself safe? Any plans, when he's in Kyiv, in case things go south, in case, something breaks out, in case fighting breaks out in the city? Does he have a plan of where he's going to go shelter? Is he sheltering in his apartment? Will he shelter at the metro, in a bunker? If you could ask him a little bit about that.
Just a minute, please.
Yeah, take your time.
Uzun bir süre evinden uzakta kaldığın zaman insanın rahatsız edemeyeceğinden bahsetti. Ve sen şu an bu durumda mısın? Hani Kiev'e dönmenin en temel sebeplerinden birisi bu mu? Bilgisayarını geride bıraktığında söylemişsin ve bilgisayarını özlüyor musun? Hani o evinin verdiği konforu mu özlüyorsun? Yani evini özlediğin için mi geri dönüyorsun?
Aslında sayılan bütün sebepler var. Hem evimi özlüyorum, hem bilgisayarımı özlüyorum, hem konforumu özlüyorum, hem evi özlüyorum, yayın yapmayı özlüyorum. Hepsi içinde. Aslında bilgisayarım yanımda, kasam yanımda. Sadece monitörleri Ukrayna'da bıraktım. O da 2 tane monitör artı diğer ekipmanlar, yayın kamerası, ondan sonra klavyeler, kulaklıklar, mouse'lar vesaire. Kedinin eşyalarını bile alamadım. Sadece kedinin yemeğini, kumunu ve çantasını alabildim.
Okay, so he says the reasons are he miss his home, he miss Kiev, he miss broadcasting, and he miss his comfort in his house, which you mentioned while you are also questioning. He says he left most of his equipment back in his house, like monitors and even some equipments of Dasha. He only took food for Dasha. And if we come to your second question, I remember we have talked about it during the recent broadcast, which you asked if he's thinking about getting the shelter, and I remember he said that he has a shelter near his house, like 5 minutes away by walking.
Okay. Um, so does he have communication? Does he know anybody that's on the ground in Kyiv at this time? Does he have any friends there? Does he have any contacts in Kyiv at this time that he has spoken to? And if so, what does the situation look like on the ground there from their perspective? I know he might have had some friends that were there, but yeah, does he have anybody that's on the ground in Kyiv at this time?
Sorry. Can you please repeat again? Sorry, I'm so
So does he have anybody that is like on the ground in Kyiv, in the city at this time that he talks to? I know he had mentioned to me before that he did have some friends in Kyiv. Have they all left, or is there anybody still there that he has talked to over the past few days?
Şu anda Kiev'de sağda konuşan insanlar var mı? Daha önce oradan arkadaşların oradan bahsetmişsin ancak ayrıldılar mı yoksa halen daha orada duruyorlar mı? Onlarla hala görüşüyor musun?
Evde hala bir iki bağlantım var. Çoğu arkadaşım şu an Ukrayna'dan ayrılmış durumda. Kimisi Fransa'ya geçti, kimisi Almanya'ya geçti. Ya bir iki ufak bağlantılarım kaldı ama hala. Yani ev sahibim bile hala Kiev'de benim. Gerçi o Dnipro'ya gidip geliyor sürekli. Ailesi orada olduğu için.
Okay, so he says he still got few contacts in Kiev, like one or two people there. Most of his friends left Ukraine. Some of them went to Germany. Some of them went to France. But he says even his landlord is still inside Ukraine, and he is going to Dnipro sometimes to check his family because his landlord's family is staying in Dnipro.
So he still has contact with some people on the ground there.
Yeah, he still have few connections inside Kiev.
Okay. So with all this in mind, does he have like a plan for? I mean, if he gets to Kyiv, okay, if he gets to the city, and you know he's there for a while, and things get worse. If things get worse, and he does need to leave again. Does he have an escape plan from the city? Will he just be taking the same train he got out before on? If that's unavailable, does he have a backup plan in place for escaping the city?
Kiev'e geri geldiğin zaman diyelim ki işler kötüleşti ve tekrardan ayrılman gerekti. Şu anda Polonya'ya geçtiğin aynı hattı mı kullanmayı düşünüyorsun? Hani trenle yaptın yoksa bunun haricinde ekstradan bir planın var mı?
Her zaman yedek planım var benim. Yedeğin yedek. A planı var, B planım var, C planım var. Yani duruma göre aynı hattı kullanabilirim veya alternatiflerini kullanabilirim. Veya hiç çıkmayabilirim yani. Aslında benim buradaki asıl çıkış amacım tamamen Daşa'yı kurtarmaktı. Çünkü Daşa olduğu için kendime odaklanamıyordum. Şimdi Daşa'yı kurtardım. Artık tek düşüneceğim şey kendim. O yüzden öncekine göre daha rahat olacağım. Zaten herkes biliyor benim rahatlığımı.
Tamam. Okay, so when he says he always have backups, also backup of his backups, like plan A, plan B, or plan C. He might use the same route to get Poland. He might use some alternatives, or this time he might never leave. He says at the first place he left Kiev because of Dasha. He was worried about Dasha, and he couldn't focus on himself. And now, while going back to Kiev again, he won't be taking Dasha with him, and so he will be there more flexible, and he can focus on himself totally.
Okay, right on. So my next question for him is he confident that before he heads into Ukraine that he'll be able to get all of the gear that he needs. I know he's currently in need of helmet and Kevlar and some of those possessions. I know I've spoken to him, and we're going to be helping him actively to try to get some of these resources that he's going to need, some of these supplies. We're in contact with some people now from Poland, and we're looking to get some things sent to him, and maybe get some people to meet up with Mehmet in Warsaw when he's in Warsaw to help him to help equip him with some of the items he will need when he heads in to Ukraine. My question for him though is he confident that he'll be able to get all of the supplies and gear that he needs before he heads in? And also my second question is, does he think he'll be able to get a weapon, a gun of any kind, and will he be able to get that over the border if he is able to get equipped with any weapons?
Are you asking if he could get a weapon before crossing the border to get Kiev, or after?
Before. So while he's in Warsaw, is he going to get a weapon there before he goes into Ukraine? And also, is he confident that he's going to be able to get all of the other gear and supplies that he needs before he heads into Ukraine?
Okay, thank you. Varşova'ya gittiğin zaman kafandaki düşündüğün bütün ekipmanları bulabileceğin konusunda kendine ne kadar güveniyorsun? Yani bunları bulabileceğine emin misin? Ayrıca diyelim ki Varşova'da kendine silah buldun Kiev'e gitmeden önce.
Hı hı.
Sınırdan bu silahla geçebilir misin? Yani
Geçerim.
silah bulabilir misin? Bununla alakalı herhangi bir planın var mı?
Öncelikle geçen gün buraya Zilyonogora'ya gelmeden önce keşif yaptım. Her ihtimale karşı, nereden ne alabileceğime karşı. Birkaç yer keşfettim. Oralara gideceğim. Ekipmanların olup olmadığını orada kontrol etmiştim. Onun dışında Varşova'da herhangi bir şekilde ekipman bulursam, kask, yelek, özellikle silah bulursam bunları sınırdan geçirebilirim. O konuda da bir problem yaşayacağımı sanmıyorum. Çünkü Polonya'ya bile girerken hiçbir şekilde kontrol edilmedi.
Okay, so before getting to Zelianagora, where he's staying at the moment, before getting there, he says he has checked some places, a few places, where he could find equipment. So he knows some places to get some equipment in his mind, and he says, while getting inside the Poland, they check nothing. So he's pretty confident that even if he finds a weapon, he could get back to Ukraine with weapon and equipment.
Alrighty, that's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, I know he had mentioned that before to me about that they weren't really doing checks on people going in and out of the Ukrainian-Polish border. So I know he's looking to get gear and stuff. Is there any maybe things he's looking to bring back for other people on the ground in Kyiv? Is he looking to bring any medicine with him into Kyiv, any humanitarian aid with him, or is he really just trying to focus right now on what he can get in for himself? Does he have any plans for maybe lending some aid to people on the ground in Kyiv once he's there?
Şu an Kiev'e geri giderken yanına medikal ekipman almayı düşünüyor musun? Hani şu an orada
Hı
bulunan
hı.
insanlar için yardım götürecek misin?
Öncelikle kim ne derse desin önce kendimi düşünmek zorundayım ama zaten Kiev'de olduğum sürece elimdeki şeyi diğer insanlarla her zaman paylaştım ve paylaşmaya devam edeceğim. Bunun dışında tabii yanıma ilaç alacağım. Ağrı kesici, ateş düşürücü gibi ilaçlar temin etmeyi düşünüyorum. Çünkü bunlar orada bayağı ihtiyaç olduğunu düşünüyorum. Onları alıp çantama yine koyacağım. Alabildiğim kadar, ne kadar çok şey alabilirsem o kadar fazla eşya alacağım. Yiyecek, ilaç.
Okay, so he says while getting back to Kiev, he must think about himself at first. He says before leaving Kiev, he has already shared with the people there what he had, but while getting back to Kiev, he will take some medicines, painkillers with him, but he must focus on himself uh, for the beginning.
Once he's in the city, once he's in Kyiv at home, does he have plans on going and helping in any of the efforts on the ground? Maybe helping the defense forces, helping out by volunteering or anything. Does he have any of the any plans to do anything like that? I mean, I know we already have a lot of plans in the works here. For broadcasting from the ground there in Kyiv. But does he have any plans for maybe lending to the humanitarian situation on the ground there in Kyiv, or possibly looking to volunteer if the need should arise?
Kiev'e geri döndüğü zaman bu yayıncılık dışında hani insani yardımlara gönüllü olarak katılmayı planlıyor musun? Oradaki savunma güçlerine gerektiğinde yardımcı olmak gibi bir planın var mı? Bu konuda ne planlıyorsun?
Ee, Öncelikle dil problemim olduğu için insani yardıma pek katılamam ama savunma güçlerinin şehir içerisinde çatışmaya girdiği zaman orada onlara katılabilirim. Onun dışında Kızılay gibi Türk yardım kuruluşlarını gördüğüm takdirde tabii onlara yardımcı olurum. Yani her türlü eşya taşımak olsun, yemek dağıtmak olsun her türlü konuda yardımcı olmaya çalışırım. Onun dışında Ukraynalı yardımseverlere katılmam pek mümkün değil çünkü Ukraynaca veya Rusça bilmediğim için onlarla iletişim problemi çekeceğim. Bu yüzden onu pek düşünmüyorum. Ama tabii şehir içerisinde savunma güçlerine katılmayı düşünüyorum ki şu an için zaten Türkleri kesinlikle almıyorlar.
Okay, so when he gets there, he says he won't be helping to local human. I can't pronounce that word, but you get it, I think.
Right.
He's not thinking about helping them because there's language blockage.
Right. Yeah, and I know he had spoken to me about that before. That was an issue, even with him joining the Territorial Defense Forces, is the that language barrier there.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. But have you heard about Kızılay, the Red Cross of Turkish version?
The what?
Kızılay. It's the Turkish version of Red Cross.
No, I haven't, but go on.
Okay, so but if he fights Kızılay inside the Kiev, he's thinking about helping because there will be no language barrier because there will be Turkish people. He's thinking about helping them with sharing food and helping the people out there.
Okay, right. Yeah, I know the international. So the International Red Cross, I'm pretty sure, has different agencies, in every country. Are they affiliated directly with Red Cross, or are they like a separate charity entity?
Kızılay is independent from Red Cross.
Okay. So another question somebody had asked here, one of our Discord members asks, when he's in Kyiv, if his food that he has there runs out, does he have a plan of where he's going to get food and water from? And then a second question, some people had offered up the idea that maybe he should get a life straw, like a water filter. Is he thinking about possibly getting something like that?
What was the second question?
So some people had mentioned him getting a water filter, to clean the water that he's drinking.
Oh, okay, for the tap water.
Yeah. So I mean, but as like a backup, if the tap water goes out, has he had any thought to maybe getting like a water filtrator, like a water filter of some kind?
Okay. Mehmet, Kiev'e geri döndüğünde yanına aldığın yemek ve su bittiğin zaman ne yapmayı planlıyorsun ve bunun yanı sıra Discord'daki bazı arkadaşlar bir tavsiyede bulunmuşlar. Hani su filtresi almak, musluk suyu hani kirli de
Aynen,
bahsetmiştim daha önce, hani o musluk suyunu su filtresiyle
o
kullanabilirim.
da aklımda. O da aklımda. Onu Varşova'ya vardığımda görürsem alacağım.
Peki yemek ve suyun bittiğinde bununla alakalı bir planın var mı?
Şöyle, e, öncelikle marketlere gidip marketlerdeki stokları kullanmaya çalışacağım. Yani direkt elimdeki stokları harcamayacağım. Marketler hala açık orada. Önce marketlerdeki stokları kullanmaya çalışacağım. Marketler de bitti artık. Hiçbir şey bulunmuyor. O zaman kendi stoğumu kullanmaya başlayacağım.
Okay, so when he gets to Warsaw, he's thinking about getting that water filter, and once he gets to Kiev, he's thinking about using the shop's stocks. He won't be using the food and water he brought with him from the Poland. He will keep them as a backup. But as long as the shops there are open, he will be going to markets and get water and food supply from there. And when the markets are run out of the supplies, he is thinking about using his backups.
What's the first thing he plans to do when he gets home?
Eve döndüğünde yapmayı planladığın ilk şey ne?
Ne?
Eve döndüğün zaman yapacağın ilk şey ne?
Yayın açmak.
He says broadcasting.
That's the first thing. Is he gonna play any Valorant? Does he have any plans to do any gaming?
Valorant'ta oyun oynamayı planlıyor musun?
Maybe not.
Efendim?
Neden olmasın dedim kanka.
Okay, he says why not?
Sounds good. Tell him we'll have to get a gaming stream going one of the nights when he has nothing better to do to pass the time. Maybe we'll get some Valorant up on screen and we'll play a couple rounds.
Geceleri sıkıldığında oyunla alakalı hani yayın yapmayı planlıyor musun? Yoksa sadece podcasting şeklinde mi çek?
Onu planlıyorum aslında. Şu an aslında tamamen bütün amacım Kiev'e ulaşmak. Hani onu oraya gittiğimde düşüneceğim. Yani o kısım biraz doğaçlama olacak.
Okay, his main plan is getting to Kiev at the moment. But what you said might be improvisation for him. If he gets bored during the night, he might also stream games, Valorant, things like that.
That'd be awesome. So again, I want to reiterate to everybody that's watching on the stream that Mehmet has really thought hard about this decision. He knows what he wants to do. He feels uncomfortable where he's at. He wants to be home, back in Kyiv. First of all, I want to thank Knight for doing the translation on this interview. Man, you've done a great job tonight translating for us. I want to thank Mehmet again for being on the interview, for being on the show tonight. One more question for Mehmet, Knight, if you could. If you could ask him how people could help Mehmet right now get the things that he needs before he heads into Poland. Before he heads into Ukraine.
Okay, sana şu anda şunu soruyorlar. Sen şu anda Kiev için yola çıkmadan önce insanlar sana yardım etmek için şu anda ne yapabilirler?
Varşova'da eğer kask ve balistik yelek ayarlayabilen varsa çok iyi olur. Çünkü bunlar eksik. Onun dışında ekipman için yardımda bulunabilirler. Normal yayın ve yayın ve gıda için. Onun dışında birinci önceliğim yelek ve kask ve mümkünse silah.
Okay, he says when he gets to Warsaw. His main priority is getting Helmut and Kepler, and he is asking if there is someone who could help him with that. Helmut and Kepler, it would be amazing. Besides that, he would be appreciated if he could get some help about getting food and other supplies.
Okay. Again, yeah, we will be coordinating with Mehmet over the next over the coming days here. We'll be coordinating with Mehmet to help get him some of those supplies and help get him the information and intelligence that he needs to make a safe trip back into Kyiv. And also, we'll be keeping everybody here on the live stream updated with what's going on with him and his trip into Kyiv. I'll have more information posted up on the stream later, how people can help Mehmet get some of this gear. Again, he's really in need of a helmet and Kevlar. Again, he's going to be in Warsaw, Poland on Monday. We're trying to get maybe some people that maybe might be in and around Warsaw that can help him get some gear and some items for this trip into Ukraine. We'll have more information on that later in the evening. Actually, sorry, I do have one more question for Mehmet Knight. Everybody just wants a small update on Dasha. I know we already know he's not going to be taking Dasha with, but how is Dasha doing right now at this very moment in time? Is the cat doing well?
Daşa'yı zaten
Daşa'yı görmek istiyorlar değil mi?
sanırım Daşa hakkında biraz daha bilgi edinmek istiyorlar. Daşa'yı yanına getirmeyeceği için hani Daşa orada nasıl onu öğrenmek istiyorlar.
Daşa çok iyi. Zaten sürekli her gün Instagram'da ve Twitter'da resim, video paylaşıyorum. Onun dışında Daşa'nın sağlığı yerinde. Yolculuk esnasında çok fazla korktu ve travma geçirdi neredeyse. O yüzden buradaki aileye onlara evlat edinip edinmeyeceklerini sordum ve kabul ettiler. Onlara da buradan teşekkür ediyorum. Yani aile çok iyi. Bakım konusunda da bir problem yaşanmayacak. Zaten ben de takip edeceğim. Herhangi bir problem olduklarında bana söyleyecekler. Ben herhangi bir şekilde çözeceğim bunu.
Okay, Dasha is doing fine at the moment, but while getting to Poland, he was so scared on the way. He says Dasha almost traumatized. And also the family Mehmet is staying with at the moment will be adopting Dasha, and Dasha will be staying with them lifelong. And he is also sharing pictures of Dasha from Instagram and Twitter from every day. So he's doing fine at the moment.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Again, thank you to both of you guys for doing this interview tonight. We'll be hearing a lot more from Mehmet in the coming days. Thank you, Knight, for doing the translation, man. You've been great, as usual.
Thank you also.
And thank you to Mehmet as well. Thank you, man, for doing this interview. We love hearing from you. Everybody wishes you to be safe, and we'll be sticking with you, man, right there until you get to Kyiv and beyond. So again, I'm glad to have you on the show tonight. Thank you for coming on.
Teşekkür ediyorlar.
Rica ederim. See you next week, bro.
Yes, we'll see you. I'll be talking to Mehmet. I'll be talking to you, man. I will talk to you after this is over. I'll be messaging you. So for everybody that's tuning in, again, this has been an interview with Mehmet out of Poland now. He's heading back into Ukraine after escaping Ukraine last week. He's decided now that he is going to be heading back into the country. We're going to be taking everybody along for that journey, keeping you guys on the updated on that situation there as it unfolds. Again, I want to just thank everybody, Knight and Mehmet, for tuning in tonight, and again, thank everybody that is tuning in to the live stream for this interview. I'll be bringing you guys another interview coming up here shortly with another from another person here, and then after that I'll be having some reports ready for you guys. But until then, stand by. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for doing that. All right, guys. Sorry about the wait there. I was continuing to speak to Mehmet and Knight. I was going over some logistical things there. As for his trip now that he's going to be making into Warsaw, Poland, and then back into Ukraine to head to Kyiv. I'll be bringing you guys more updates on that situation later. I actually have some. So right now we're trying to mobilize people. If anybody that is listening or tuning in is from Poland or has family and friends in Poland that would like to help Yoru, he's going to be in Warsaw on Monday. We're trying to get him some much-needed gear that he's going to need to head into Kyiv. He's looking to get his hands on some like a plate carrier, some Kevlar, and as well as a helmet, amongst other things. Radio. He's looking for like a two-way radio, water filtration, food supplies, etc. So any help that he can get would be highly appreciated. In a short while here, I will be updating the description below the YouTube stream. I'll be adding a section in there where you guys can directly donate to Mehmet. He has a PayPal that has been set up now, amongst other things. There's a couple other venues that you can use to donate to him to help him in his efforts here. He's going to be our ipso facto Ukrainian correspondent on the ground there in Kyiv. He's doing this not just for himself, but he realizes that people need to see what is going on the ground there in that city. He has a real drive to be there. He has a real he has a life that he's built there in Kyiv. A lot of people, I think, don't understand. He worked really hard to get out of Turkey and to get to Europe, and he built himself a life there in Kyiv. He lived there for over a year and had been, working every day in Kyiv there. And he can't just give up that life. He doesn't want to give up that life. He doesn't want to give up his apartment. All of his stuff is there. All of his possessions, his furniture, everything is back in that city. And so he has a really he has a pull to that city, and he has a real. He has a reason, in his mind, that he needs to go back and hold it out there. So that's his plan as of this moment. He's going to be gearing up. We're helping him get some logistical support and get some of the material support that he needs to head back in to Ukraine. And to get all the gear that he needs to be able to survive there in his house, in his home. He has an apartment there in the city center. He's going to be. We're working with Mehmet and a couple other news agencies now to collaborate and possibly get multiple new Kyiv angles up out of the city. We have a few people just besides Mehmet as well that we're looking to collaborate with now on the ground in Ukraine to get some live feeds up, because we need to have eyes on what is going on the ground in this country. It's very important. Mehmet will not only be doing himself a service by going back home where he wants to be, for himself he's doing a service, but he's also doing a service to the entire world by going and doing what he's going to be doing. Again, he's not able to get any official press credentials because those are issued by the country of origin, but he is going to be operating as an independent journalist then at this point out of Kyiv. He does have some future plans for possibly doing some volunteer work there in the city, if the need should arise. And again, we'll be keeping you guys up to date on everything with his situation. Again, for those of you that are looking to help Mehmet and his situation, you can find links and resources to that on the Discord. I will be adding those in to the stream here shortly underneath in the description, and we'll be making an official post over on the Discord. Okay, so looks like our feed just switched over to the International Space Station here, and we have some chill vibes coming through on that camera feed from the International Space Station. I believe that is our, that's our, I believe that's our Lviv feed. Wow. I'm unable to find the feed. Is this it? No, that's not it. I'm trying to mute all my feeds here. found it. Yep. NASA live stream Earth from the space via live view of the International Space Station. Well, as much as I'd like to keep that up on the screen, I don't think it's very relevant right now. So unfortunately, we'll be taking that down. What did we have there? What did we have there? God, I totally forgot what we even had in that shot there. Somebody said leave it up. Yeah. If the majority of the voices in the live stream wished me to do so, possibly, but I don't think it's that relevant right now. I'd love to keep it up, but... Oh, the hotel, you're right. The hotel feed went down. Very interesting. So in a short while here, I'm hoping to have a British fellow on the show that was working under Gamers for Ukraine. They drove a van full of humanitarian aid down to the Ukrainian border recently this week. And I was hoping to get him on the air for a little bit of an interview here shortly. I am going to be taking a quick break before I attempt to get that set up, though. But yeah, again, when we come back, I'll be getting that interview going with that British gentleman. I believe his name was Tom, if I'm not mistaken. But after that, I will be bringing you guys another round of updates, and then that will be followed with our open panel community discussions that we will be having tonight, led, I believe, again tonight by our head of our writing team, Desmo, over on the community Discord, who has been doing an excellent job at writing those panel discussions for us. We're hoping to have a pretty good turnout tonight. We're looking to do that between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. Right now, I'll be getting some other cameras up on screen for you guys to see here, to use. So give me a second here to get all those refreshed and replaced. I know our Kharkiv camera looks a little bit under the weather, so we'll get that refreshed. Quite a few of these have gone down. I believe our Oasis feed is still down as well, amongst others. Okay, so I got audio feeds back up. All right. Yeah, I have quite a few other cameras to choose from. We have this Sophia Square Cam, which I'm pretty sure is still fake. We're still getting some. Some people are looking into this camera here. We believe that's a repeat though of another camera. Here's a nice feed of Odessa as well. It's one of our famous TARP cams, which our live chat seems to love and endear so much. But just look at that view from this cam tonight, with the moon there glistening off the Black Sea there in Odessa, the streetlights illuminating the streets below. Definitely a very visually stunning angle there from Odessa there tonight. I'm going to put that down there in that spot just while I get a couple other cameras up on screen for you at this time. Somebody said the cam has been verified. The Ukraine coat of arms made of flowers appeared in the square today. Oh, and somebody posted a verification link to it as well. So it's legit from AFP. Yeah, so I guess we'll get that up on screen for you guys here. Some people saying that this is a verified cam from Sophia Square. We have here from webcamguru.ua, and that this pattern here, the Ukrainian coat of arms, was made with flowers today. There's actually a post that somebody sent over that actually corroborates that. So we'll leave it up there. We'll leave it up there for now. Of course, it does freeze once in a while, this feed. The Kharkiv feed also freezes once in a while. But if they don't come back operational by themselves, we give them a refresh on our end. But usually they'll lock up for like 4 to 5 seconds, and then they'll unfreeze. Somebody says, "I just hope Mehmet stays safe." Yes, in fact, I want to just drive this home with everybody. That making sure that he has everything he needs, making sure that he has the operational intel that he requires to stay safe is of utmost priority for us. And was the entire time. If we were feeding him intel the entire time he escaped. From Kyiv. In fact, over those days, I was doing less reports because I was spending most of my time funneling him information about evacuation routes and what was going on outside the city and what the Russian troop movements were looking like outside the city, etc. And it's going to be the same thing this time. With him heading in, I'm going to try to make sure I can get him as much information as possible. As I said, we have a few people on the ground there in Ukraine that have been able to give us some pretty significant updates over the past few weeks, and so I hope to be able to aid him as much as possible in his return trip into Kyiv, and I hope to keep him safe as much as possible. He understands that by streaming these cameras, it gives up his operational security, and he's willing to do that. He's more than willing. In fact, he feels like it's the only way he can help, is to do that. And he feels angry, at the Russians. Again, he's spent more than a year building his life there in Kyiv after working forever, to get out of Turkey and to get to Europe and to get where he is at now. He worked really hard for his job. He worked really hard for a lot of things that he has there, and so he feels the need to be there in Kyiv and to do what he can to show the world what is going on there. And I respect that more than anything. Somebody says sirens on live UA map. I actually don't think we have. I can check our automated tracker as well. Yeah, 4 minutes ago. See, now this is what's hard about not having audio out of Kyiv. We get our siren alerts, but we don't hear it on screen. We don't have any actual ears on the ground in the city. Yeah, 8 minutes ago, Russian army has shelled Zelenodolsk in near the Dnipro region. More red alert sirens as well. I'll check our automated siren alert tracker here. Somebody says smoke on cam 3. Yeah, that's from a heating system. That happens every night. Don't be alarmed by the smoke on cam 3. That happens every night. We watch that quite often. Yeah, 3 hours. So I'm seeing all clear sirens. We're seeing no siren updates here on our automated system siren alerts on Twitter here, but it's based on municipal data, and so. Again, we'll have to wait to see if this updates. It might update here in a few minutes. Somebody says it's not from a heating system. I'm pretty sure it's from a heating system. We've seen that smoke every night at this exact time around midnight. Every night we see that smoke. pretty sure it's from like a wood boiler. I'm pretty sure that's what it's from, if I'm not mistaken. Again, we see that smoke trailing past this camera every single night that I've been watching this monastery feed. So, Christian, I think, said see if Mimic can get something like a shot spotter system set up. Actually, we already have plans for something like that. Yeah, that's already in the discussions, in the lines of discussions. That could definitely be a possibility. We're looking at getting multiple angles set up, multiple skyline angles set up, with multiple points of audio, so that we can triangulate audio sources and stuff like that. That's definitely a possibility that we're looking at for Inner Kyiv in the city center there. It wouldn't be anything as nearly advanced as an actual shot spotter system, of course, but it would still be quite useful for triangulating explosion and other audio sources. Poseidon923 says, greetings. Thank you very much, Poseidon, for tuning back in today. Nice to see some familiar faces hanging around. Crescent says it might even be helpful for the defenders too. I don't think so. They probably already have their own systems. In fact, we've even seen them using those systems there. So I would imagine that they're probably using their own actual shot spotter systems. But you never know, maybe. It definitely would be useful for us as observers, as an observation commission. It's definitely useful for us to have directional data for some of the explosions and activity that we hear coming out of the city center. Somebody said, "Do you think after Kyiv that it would be over?" No, I don't think so. Possibly if they can decapitate the entirety of the Ukrainian government in one false swoop, but I don't think that the war would be over by any extent. Somebody says, "What city is Cam 2?" Cam 2 is near Lviv. I believe it's called Lutsk, if I'm not mistaken. The street is Leviska Street that this cam is on. So he says, think it'll be very difficult for the Russians to take Kiev? Yes. Yes, we've already seen that. It's already been difficult for them. It's been a difficult city to take in the past as well. Kiev. This won't be the first time that Kiev has been invaded. This will be, I would imagine like the fourth or fifth time, if I'm not mistaken, that Kiev has been invaded in the past few hundred years. I know a historian will probably sound off in chat and let me know that I'm wrong and that the exact number of times that they've been invaded, but I know they've been invaded more than once. Somebody said, any more deep fakes in the works? Funny stuff, maybe. We'll see. I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about. So he says, I believe part of the Ukrainian government has moved to Lviv now, as well as for the continuity of power. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and that's why I disagree that the war would be over if they took Kyiv. Even if they got Zelensky, I believe there would still be the Ukrainian military would still be active, and there would be a command and control structure in place in the event of his death. Somebody said that's over once they get Zelensky. No, I don't think so. I reiterate that there's obviously a command and control structure that's set in place in the event of Zelensky's death. The idea that all of Ukraine would just simply concede as soon as Russia kills Zelensky is definitely an overreach. So he says, do you think World War III will happen? I don't know. Hope not. Lutsk, also spelled Lutsk, Polish Luck, German Luck, city, northern western Ukraine, on a defensive site at a bend in the Styr River. Thank you for that, Penelope. Somebody says, looks like the stock market is currently holding steady. Yeah, it has been kind of leveling out, and I think that's because of there's been kind of a leveling out in the escalations the past 72 hours or so, and I think that's a direct reason why we're seeing kind of a leveling out of the markets as well. Somebody said Poland will invade and take back Lviv. Sure as hell hope that doesn't happen, because we will have World War III on our hands. What's up with the Odessa cam? Well, we have a few Odessa cams that we have up now. Not on screen. We have one on screen currently. Of course, there's really no activity happening there. We've seen maybe some activity out on the Black Sea there over the past few days, but so far haven't been able to capture too much in the way of capturing those amphibious assault ships that are possibly out there. So is it the feed of the Black Sea is down? I'm not sure which feed you're speaking of. Yeah, again, I'm looking to get some other temporary audio feeds, Kiev feeds up. It's a battle every day. Every day, you know, you wake up and feeds have gone down. You need to search for new ones. When you find the new ones, you need to proof them. You need to make sure they're vetted and that they're real, and then you can put them on screen. You know, and it's a lot of work. So I'm hoping I can have a few feeds up here tonight. Again, we usually see feeds come online during the daytime and go down during the they usually go down during the nighttime. So again, I'm going to see and try to find a few different possible audio feeds that we can maybe use here and get those proofed. I'm going to be taking a break here shortly for a little while. When we come back, though, we're going to be looking at having an interview. Again, there was a British gentleman that I had spoken to earlier. I'm going to see if I can get him back on the air. I'm not sure if he'll be available still or not, but I'm going to try to, when I come back here, get him on the air for an interview, speak to him about his journey into Poland there. And then after that, I'll be going with another round of reports. And then after that, around 8 to 9 p.m., we'll be having our open panel discussion again this evening. Right now, I have to go and I'm going to be uploading last night's panel discussion, or yesterday's panel discussion, I mean, as well as this morning's morning report to the YouTube channel. For anybody that missed that report, I'll be uploading that. I'll also be uploading our interview that we just did with Mehmet as well, if anybody is interested in seeing that. So we said, where's the Scotsman? We'll have the Scotsman on later. Epi's hanging around somewhere. We love having him on the show. In fact, we've tossed around the idea of giving Epi just an hour of airtime on the stream where he can just, you know, just read to people and just talk because we love hearing him talk. He's an awesome dude. Again, he'll probably be a part of our open mic discussion, our open panel discussions later this evening on the stream. So stay tuned for that.